Good day, dear students. Today I'm going to talk about use of ICT, information and communication technologies in teaching process. So there are 2 points I would like to focus on: information and communication technologies and educational application of ICTs. The use of the latest tools of information and communication technologies in various spheres of human activity, including education, is becoming increasingly important. The computerization of the learning process in domestic and foreign publications is considered as one of the key factors in organizing the teaching of the subject. The latest information technologies in education make it possible to actively use the scientific and educational potential of leading universities and institutes, attract the best teachers to create distance learning courses, and expand the audience of the students. The active integration of technical means into the learning process dates back to the 70s due to the widespread use of personal devices such as tape recorders and movie projectors. However, they are soon gradually replaced by more advanced devices such as stationary computer, interactive whiteboard, mobile, tablet, computer, smartphones. The emergence of these technical means also influences the ways of presenting information, which today is most often presented in multimedia format, that is, in several forms at the same time: text, graphic, video, audio, interactive. The current trend is to shift focus from a single computer to a virtual online environment. The model of the human-computer relationship is gradually losing its relevance, and the computer becomes an intermediary between the person and the virtual environment created jointly by millions of users. Thanks to the development of the Internet, the process of information consumption is becoming more and more individualized. We use less and less ready-made, pre-organized knowledge, for example, textbooks and courses presented on CD-ROMs. Instead, we turn to the web and independently find resources to satisfy the information hunger. So, the general dissemination of information and communication technologies has expanded access to authentic materials in the target language and to networked computer teaching aids. Working on the Internet, students and teachers can access libraries of electronic text, museum and archival sources, electronic versions of newspapers and magazines, use online training programs and dictionaries, tape filing discussion and video conference, exchange information via email, and etc. Let's consider some advantages of using ICT in the process of FLT. Recently, most researchers and methodologists have noted the benefits of ICT in increasing the effectiveness of learning foreign language. There are the following advantages of using ICT in the process of foreign language teaching: provision of a large amount of authentic information, impact on all channels of perception through the use of multimedia technologies like text, graphics, sound, animation, video, adaptability, non-linearity of information provision, high influence in the learning process. Compared to other textbooks, the didactic advantages are multifunctionality, interactivity, a variety of possible ways of organizational forms of work. As a learning tool, the computer can realize all the benefits. At the same time, the use of computer tools in the learning process is regulated by requirements for technical devices and must comply with certain rules. And let's identify the most important principle of teaching using ICT. In addition, it should be noted that teaching foreign language using information and communication technology corresponds to the most important principle of teaching. The first principle, of scientific character, due to the content of training programs created in accordance with the methodological rules. The second principle, of conscientiousness, by creating an opportunity for students to use individual strategies for achieving learning outcomes. The third one, principle of activity and interactivity, by changing the role of a student from passive learner to an initiator to work based on active interaction with the computer. The fourth one, principle of systemicity on consistency. If integrated into the curriculum, computer resource can provide consistency in presentation of educational material. The next principle of strength of learning outcomes, due to the ability to reuse training programs and resources, both in the classroom and independently in the condition of extracurricular work. And the last principle of visibility through the use of teaching aids of various formats, including all kinds of verbal and non-verbal visualization, pictures, videos, audio, and so on. So let's consider some principles of using in computer linguodidactics. They are conditionality, necessity, information content, and reliability. And let's list some functions of using ICT. There are two groups of computer functions can be distinguished considering the active participants, like learner, teacher, and computer. The first one in relation to the learner and the relation to the teacher. The first group includes the following functions: communicative, informative, training, managing, controlling. The second group includes the following functions: organization of collective work directly in the computer class, information support, support for presenting activities, and technical support. So let's talk about internet technologies. The introduction of internet technologies in the process of teaching of a foreign language. The use of various forms of synchronous and asynchronous internet communication like email, chat, forums, web conferences has a positive impact on the formation of foreign language communicative competence of students. The resources of the network are invaluable medium for education and self-education of people for the satisfaction of their personal and professional interests and needs. However, only having access to internet resources cannot be a guarantee of fast and high quality language education. Let's list some educational internet resources, such as electronic dictionaries, including educational, explanatory, translation, terminological, illustrated, interactive materials, dictionaries. Authentic material in the target language, in the text, graphic, video, audio, game formats. Special educational resources for teaching foreign language. Application programs. Means of electronic synchronous like chats, instant messengers, video conference, and asynchronous email, forums, study groups, and social networking communication. Education internet resources, hot list, multimedia scrapbook, treasure hunt, sample subject, web quest. These technologies are used in language teaching in various forms of organization of learners' activities such as classroom work, extracurricular work, distance learning, blended and combined learning, containing elements of classroom and distance. The introduction of educational internet resources into the learning process contributes to the development of students' communication skills. The complexity of the materials and its volume vary and should correspond to the level of development of the students at each stage of learning. The methodological potential of educational internet resources allows to select text, graphic, photo, audio and video materials on the topic studied, organize a discussion of cultural and social problems in groups and in the whole class, to conduct a linguistic analysis of the oral and written speech of native speakers, organize extracurricular and project activities of students, create for favorable conditions for students with a high level of foreign language community competence to realize their intellectual potential. It can be concluded that the use of ICT is currently an integral part of the learning process, contributes to the modernization of higher education, allows for an activity-based approach to learning, and successfully form the communicative and informational competence of students.